Hey, welcome to another episode of the Evolved Dad Shortcast. We start with week 8 in the journey from father to dad. Last week, we were talking about how taking a step back and analyzing our actions, our reactions, and how we deal with specific situations, or really situations in general, can give us the best feedback as to what steps we need to take next in order to grow even further from father to dad, or even if you are a dad already, taking it to the next level. But now I want to take it back a little bit. And before we move on, if you haven't listened from the beginning of this mini course, let's call it, I would recommend you go back because without building a strong foundation, you're really not going to be gaining as much as you should be. So take a few weeks back, start listening, build that foundation, and then come and join us at this step. So now moving on, we spoke about how analyzing our actions, analyzing our reactions, analyzing situations, how things play out can really help us understand where we're lacking, or maybe where we have to pivot, change, improve, grow. It's a self feedback loop, but at the same time, it's important that we don't let that drag us down. That can't be the source of despair. That can't be the source of depression. It has to be the source of excitement, of growth, where you could take that piece of information and use it to move you on in your journey of growth. And that's what I want to focus on today. Taking the journey from father to dad is often spurred by maybe you're successful financially, but maybe you're not getting the respect of your wife. Maybe you're not getting the respect of your children. Feeling inadequate, maybe by peers. And part of the growth from father to dad is developing a self worth, becoming fulfilled based off of proving to yourself that you can do things, you can do more, you can do greater, and you are worth it. And part of that is realizing that you're not a doormat. You're not somebody that should be stepped on by others. Now, I'm not telling you to go take rash actions and start doing whatever to people that are treating you like this. No. The idea is that there has to be a decision that's made. Sometimes people in our lives are not helping us towards our goals. Depending on who that person is, how close or distant they are to you, it may be necessary to lessen your conversations with them, lessen your interactions. When possible, maybe even to avoid them, if that's what's truly determined. This is not something to take lightly, but it's something that's extremely important. Because someone that's a hindrance to your growth, someone that doesn't really care about you, is going to hold you back. Now, someone that does care about you is going to want you to grow. And you'll know who those people are. Those are the people that you could have an honest conversation with and say, what you're doing is really holding me back. And I wouldn't recommend saying exactly like that, but it's the concept. More of saying something where, I'm trying to grow. It's very discouraging when such and such happens or we have such and such conversations, whatever it may be. Make it more about addressing the issue than the person. That's a conversation for another time. But the focus should be trying to find what's leeching your energy, what's taking away from you, what's the source of stress, anxiety, and what's demotivating you, what's keeping you from growing. Because as much as you're going to put into all this growth, as much as you're going to be putting into establishing that strong foundation, if you're up against a strong force pushing you back, it's going to be very difficult for you to make real progress. Now, taking that a step forward goes one of two ways. It's addressing the issue, having a conversation, or avoiding. And sometimes it may be difficult to have that conversation, but it's an important conversation to have. Sometimes avoiding may be difficult, but it may be important to avoid. Each situation is going to be differently. There is no one answer that fits all, but it's important that you address this because the more often that you're beat down, the harder it's going for you to be to rise. And once you get those blockages out of the way, you're going to see how much quicker you're going to be able to grow. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the baseline to work with, but you just have something blocking you. They say with, I don't remember what type of bug it is. Maybe, I think it's fleas actually. A flea can jump, let's say, a few feet high. But if you put it into a jar and it keeps hitting the top of the jar when it keeps jumping, I believe by the next generation, by when that flea has another flea, it's not going to try jumping anymore. The same thing is for us. When it comes to growth, we keep hitting that wall. We can't get around it. We feel like we're stuck. Not only is it going to affect you, inevitably it's going to affect your children because your children are going to see how beat down you are, how you're not able to make that progress, how maybe you're unhappy. And it's important that you address these issues, most importantly for yourself, so that you can feel that fulfillment, you can feel that joy because you have the tools, you have everything else to do, everything else that you need to be able to get you to that point. And then right after that is your children. You want to give your children the best possible life, the best possible chance of success. And you're building on those tools now. You're gathering those tools. You're gathering the ability and the understanding of how it is that you're going to show up to teach them. But until you get this out of the way, it's going to be a blockage. And you don't want that blockage to be something that they're going to suffer from. So it's important that it's addressed. And remembering that this is not necessarily something that's going to change overnight. But like everything that we've been going through from the beginning, it's all about taking small steps over time, coming up with a goal, and then attacking it piece by piece by piece, taking one step up the ladder at a time. That's how you're going to get there. And yeah, it may take weeks, it may take months, but that doesn't mean that you should give it your best shot. You don't want to look back in months or years and say, I should have, or why didn't I? You want to look back and say, I gave it my all. I gave it my fullest. Yeah, I got beat down, but I got back up. And don't think you're alone in this. There are so many others out there. If there's anything I could ever help with, always reach out. There's other people, there's other dads all over on X, at least as of now, 2024. They're all willing to help each other. They all want to help you. Don't feel shy. You're not the only one that has these things that you need to get over. You got this. Take it one step at a time. And I'm excited to see your growth and to see you taking the next step in your journey to becoming a dad. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me. This is Jonathan, the Evolved Dad, signing off.